On April 22nd, 2021, Zac Efron appeared in Bill Nye's Earth Day special, and the world couldn't believe what they were seeing. He looked almost unrecognizable. His face, specifically his jaw, had grown significantly, and he had this bloated, puffy appearance that he never had in the past. Zac carried on as normal, as if nothing was out of the ordinary, but after seeing this, people couldn't talk about anything else. A big part of the reason everyone was so taken aback was because of the reputation Zac previously had. For the longest time, he was one of Hollywood's male beauty icons, and his good looks were a huge part of his appeal. He was on bedroom walls, the cover of magazines, and in the hearts of fans all around the world. So seeing him like that was genuinely shocking, and things only got more extreme from there. In the months following that Earth Day special, Zac's face retained that swollen, reconstructed look, but it was soon matched by a body bulked up to near cartoonish proportions. The lean, boyish charm that defined his High School Musical era, and even the shredded, beach-ready frame of his Baywatch days had vanished. In its place was a figure that looked more like a sculpted action hero, hyper-masculine, overbuilt, and oddly artificial. So the question is, what on earth happened to him? Well, Zac offered an explanation, but the more you look at his transformation, especially in the lead up to his movie The Iron Claw, the more it starts to feel like that explanation might be covering up something else. Because if there's one thing Hollywood rewards, it's a body that sells, and Zac Efron may have sold his more than anyone ever realized.
This is crazy, because right here he really looks like, you know, one of those surgeons that be trying to sell their surgeries, and then they did a whole bunch of stuff to their face. That's what he looks like right here. And it's kind of sad, to be honest, because if he did get surgery to like enhance his face and he made his face worse after having a whole career that was, you know, focused on his face, you know, he's kind of in a just terrible position at this point. I can't even imagine that. You know, like, I'm sure he's banging his head against the wall at the crib every day. But yeah, man, his face looks fake. It looks like he was a dude that went in to get surgery to look like Zac Efron, but didn't quite, you know, hit the mark.
From a young age, Zac showed a clear passion and natural flair for the performing arts, and his parents were all in. They enrolled him in local theatre productions and singing lessons, helping him hone his skills early on. Before long, Zac was landing roles in community theatre, and soon after, a talent agency took notice. By 2006, while most kids his age were focused on finishing high school, Zac had already appeared in the TV movie Miracle Run, made guest appearances on shows like Firefly, and held a recurring role on Summerland. At the time, acting wasn't even Zac's main goal. He'd worked hard to get good grades and planned to go on to college, but that all changed when he landed the lead role in what seemed at the time like a modest Disney Channel original movie, High School Musical.
I was so ready for college, man. I worked so hard, I got good grades. I had a 4.3 when I left high school. So I probably would have gone on to be a doctor.
Little did he know that this small movie would become his breakout hit and change his entire life overnight.
I'm not gonna lie, High School Musical was one of them ones, bro. High School Musical, as a jit, bro, High School Musical was so good, bro. I couldn't tell you how many times I done watched them movies. Right now, it's kind of like mad cringy, but back then, that shit was hitting, boy. I wanted to be like Corbin Blue so bad. Sheesh.
In High School Musical, Zac played Troy Bolton, a high school basketball star secretly passionate about singing. When the movie premiered in 2006, it pulled in nearly 8 million viewers and quickly became a teen sensation. The soundtrack, led by Zac and his co-star Vanessa Hudgens, was one of the top-selling albums in the US. Its standout track, Breaking Free, shot to number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, giving Zac his first major music milestone. Disney doubled down on the High School Musical craze, releasing 2 sequels that each pulled in bigger numbers than the last. By the time the third film hit theaters in 2008, it wasn't just a hit, it was a phenomenon, and Zac was at the center of it all. He was everywhere, on magazine covers, posters, red carpets, you name it. To millions of teenage fans, he wasn't just an actor, he was the teen idol of the era. Everywhere he went, he was swarmed by screaming fans, captivated by his looks, charm, and boy-next-door appeal. But the very thing that made him famous was also starting to box him in. In 2007, Zac starred in Hairspray, a musical set in the 1960s about a teen who dreams of dancing on a popular TV show while standing up against racial segregation. He played Link Larkin, a popular singer with a slick Elvis vibe and a heart of gold.
On
On the surface, the film felt a bit different to High School Musical. Director Adam Shankman even had some initial hesitation about casting Zach because he wondered whether his Disney image might clash with the film's more serious undertones. However, the promise of capturing a massive teen audience sealed the deal. Zach got the part, and the movie became another commercial win. But in reality, his character was just another version of Troy Bolton. The time period and styling were different, but the core of the role, the heartthrob with the wholesome edge, was exactly the same. As far as Hollywood was concerned, there was no need to change what was already selling, so this became the cycle. Slightly different films, slightly different characters, but always orbiting the same image. Take 17 again, for example. Zach played the younger version of a 37-year-old dad who magically transforms back into his teenage body. The movie had no songs, but the rest was familiar. High school hallways, a flashy car, and the same effortless cool that made him famous. By this point, Zach was starting to express that he wanted more. In interviews, he talked about seeking new challenges and stepping out of the teen heartthrob box, but the industry wasn't ready to see him any other way.
This is like rich people problems, bro, because as an actor, what you're saying is you're too good at the roles that you play, so you want to play other roles. That shit don't make no sense, gang. I'm not gonna lie. Just lock in, continue playing those roles, and as you get older, you know, your face is gonna mature. They can't make you a high schooler forever. You feel me? So if your face still gives high schooler, your face still gives like young, you know, those are the roles you're gonna go for. That's like him inside this movie, him right here, trying to play someone's father. It's like, no, I want a serious role. I want to play someone's dad, and I want to like, oh, no, bro. Just play your high school parts, and then don't worry, you gonna break off into something else. It's gonna take a little time, but you were on top of the world, bro. Like, I feel like that's not something. But then again, you know, that's from the outside looking in. When it comes to, you know, the politics behind movies and shit like that, I mean, it might be something where it's like they want to stop casting him because of the fact that he's a one, you know, trick pony. So, and I guess for him to ever get other roles, he needs to put himself in a place where he wants to get more serious roles. But it's still like, I don't know, man. I guess it's a slippery slope. He probably tried to maneuver it the best he can. He probably had some good fucking managers and shit. What the fuck do I know? You know? What the fuck do I know anyway? But that's how I feel.
Behind 17 again had sold him on the idea that the movie was a step forward for his career, but people were treating him exactly the same way. Instead of focusing on his acting skills, interviewers would constantly bring up his body, hair, or looks.
I know that a lot of ladies have crushes on you, and when we were watching the movie, and I don't get like this either. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, I love Brad Pitt, oh my god, I love this person. It's not me. I never had a poster of a guy on my wall. I never, like, I had pictures of animals on my wall in high school. Like, I never was like, oh my god, I think he's so hot. You are, though.
Oh, wow, thank you.
And when you took off...
Gang, shut your bitch ass up. Shut your bitch ass up. Because, like, that's one thing. Like, imagine this is... I don't know if he's a teenager at this point. Maybe he's like 19. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But she looks well over, like, older than him. You know what I mean? Now, imagine roles reversed. You got an old person interviewing a younger person, but the older person is a man, and he's like, yeah, like, I saw you in this movie. Like, you just, you know, the bikini scenes, they just look so good. And I'm not the one to tweak, you know what I mean? I never had, you know, Halle Berry and shit on my wall, but you just look so good. Like ooh. Shit ain't rolling off like that. You know what I mean? This gives me Justin Bieber. And one thing I never even, like, correlated in my head, but, like, Zac Efron was really one of them ones. He was really one of them ones. He was like Justin Bieber type shit. It was just not in my head because I'm watching the movies. I'm a kid. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about his real life or what he's actually doing. I'm just watching the movies because I like the movies. But this is weird. Like, bro, lock in, gang. Lock in. Like, you doing weird ass shit, gang.
off your shirt in the movie, everybody was like gasping. All the women in the audience started gasping, and I started laughing. I'm like, okay, I agree this time.
That's hilarious. Thank you.
Another interviewer was just openly flirting with him on camera.
You are quite stunning in real life, I must say.
Stroking. They're just stroking. Stop stroking. Stop stroking. Shit. Non-stop stroking. How old was Zac Efron in 2009? Hold up. Let's see how old Gang was right quick. Because before I start getting on ass, before I start talking shit about these ladies, let me see. How old was Zac? I don't know if I can even look it up like that. Zac Efron in 2009. Okay, in 2009, Zac Efron was about 22 years old. So I guess he wasn't that young. He wasn't that young. But shit, bro, stop stroking his shit, bro. Stop stroking. That's still odd. That's like if a 22-year-old Ariana Grande got a male interviewing her, and the nigga's like fucking 35 talking about, yeah, Ariana, you just look so good. Like, I just love that bikini scene that you did in that movie, and all the guys went crazy, and like, I went crazy too. You're really so stunning. Nah, it just don't hit. No. And what the fuck is this haircut? This is some crazy shit right here. This is some crazy shit, because they're really stroking, bro. Because, hey, I'm not a hater, bro, but Zac Efron, like, he was one of them ones, like, when it comes to stardom. But, bro, like, he was a mid-looking dude. Like, let's be real with ourselves. He was a mid-looking dude, and they just started stroking and shit. You feel me?
Thank you.
That sounds really odd. Very odd. But the guys back home, they said to me, oh, you've got to flirt with Zac Efron and everything. And I'm like, God, I'm like 10 years older than him.
Check it out.
A bit older than that, probably. So do you like older women?
Absolutely. Man, you haven't seen 17 again, obviously.
Yeah.
Even simple questions always came back to his looks.
Nah, he probably hit that night. He probably hit.
That's kind of like a compliment almost, thank you.
The time Zac was asked about his career and where he saw himself going, he was met with skepticism and doubt.
So is there a part of you that thinks, well, this is great and this is wonderful and I love it, but I've really got to, be able to do other things, like not to be just part of this one particular kind of idea in people's minds?
Yes, absolutely. That's very...
See, bro, the only male interviewer stopped stroking his cock and actually asked him a real question. You know what I mean? He said, yeah, I know, like, you look good, you're doing these movies, but do you ever think of doing different movies? Because you kind of turned into a one-trick pony at this point. The girls just stroking meat. Like, come on, bro, let's lock in. Let's lock in a little bit.
To me. Earlier in the year before we filmed High School Musical, I was able to do 2 other movies. One's called 17 Again, and that's a family comedy, non-musical.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, in a way.
He on his ass. Why you do
Deep
that?
down, Zac knew the interviewer was right, and in the years following, he started making more deliberate choices to secure the right roles. He turned down Footloose, a remake of an 80s musical, because he felt the role was too similar to Troy Bolton and Link Larkin.
You know what? It was nothing against the project. I think Footloose will make a fantastic movie, but I'm looking for a new challenge.
It was clear Zac wanted to be taken seriously, but the real question was whether Hollywood would actually give him the chance. He finally got the opportunity to prove he was more than just a teen idol in his next 2 films. In 2010, he starred in Charlie St. Cloud, playing a young man grieving the tragic loss of his little brother. Then came The Lucky One, where Zac played Logan Thibault, a US Marine who survives war and becomes convinced a photo that he found during combat brought him luck. These films marked a noticeable shift. They weren't teen musicals or high school dramas. They were more grounded, adult stories with heavier emotional themes. And for the first time, Zac wasn't just playing the heartthrob. He was taking risks and showing a new side of himself.
I love whatever I'm doing. I think as long as I'm learning something new, as long as I'm growing or stretching, I don't know. I love taking roles where there's an element of risk involved, and playing a Marine was a part you kind of have to do. You have to get just right.
For The Lucky One, he trained with real Navy SEALs and packed on around 20 pounds of muscle, going from the slim Disney kid to a more grown, physical.
Hey, gang, how you put on 20 pounds of muscle? How long did it take, bro, to put on 20 pounds of muscle? Because that's crazy.
Cool guy.
I trained every day with the Navy SEAL.
And it was a pretty grueling training process. And then on top of that, just had to eat a ton of calories, all healthy calories.
But despite pouring more emotion and discipline into his roles, Hollywood didn't seem to take Zach seriously. For those films, he didn't get the recognition he hoped for from big award shows like the Oscars or Golden Globes. Instead, it came from the Teen Choice Awards, an annual show voted on by kids aged 13 and over. For his performance in The Lucky One, Zach won 2 Teen Choice Awards and 1 People's Choice Award.
And your choice movie actor drama is...
That's tough. I'll be pissed too, I'm not gonna lie. Nigga, I'm trying to be serious. Y'all niggas over here giving me Teen Choice Awards. Nigga, I ain't no... Like The Weeknd. He said, I ain't no Teen Choice Award.
Despite taking on risks to evolve as an actor, it was clear the industry still saw him the same way. Over time, Zach seemed to accept that if Hollywood wasn't going to recognize his acting skills, maybe his appearance could open doors. After the attention his physical transformation received in The Lucky One, he decided to try and embrace it. The muscles, the more mature image, it all became a part of the new Zac Efron. He went on to star in films like The Paperboy and That Awkward Moment, both of which had a common thread. Zach was sexualized, with his image often speaking louder than his acting. In The Paperboy, for example, his character Jack uses his physical appeal to increase attention with Nicole Kidman's character Charlotte. He spends much of the film shirtless, drenched in rain or sweat, with the camera focused on one thing and one thing only: his body.
This is a little odd. I didn't watch the movie. I don't know what this movie's about. I kind of want to watch it. No pause, no Diddy. Pause, no Diddy. Not because he's in underwear. Pause. But just because it seems like it could be a good movie. It's called The Paperboy. She's probably married, and he probably like try to get with her. She probably a little hosky. You know, cougars when they get to a certain age, they lose self-control. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but it is weird that they got him butt ass booty naked in underwears in the movie, and she over here fully clothed in a disco fucking outfit. Like, gang, if y'all don't make this old lady start stripping too, I'm not stripping. You feel me? Like, have her drop some shit. I'm sure niggas want to see her drop some shit too. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they should have did. But he can't really get, like, him kind of picturing everything like that. Is like, yeah, The Rock plays The Rock in every movie, gang. The Rock is The Rock in every movie. So all you had to do is be Zac Efron in every movie. You feel me? Just keep, do what works, nigga. You don't gotta reinvent the wheel. You just gotta pop out them movies. That, even if you playing yourself, who gives a shit?
A review by The Guardian summed it up perfectly, saying, Efron is cast first and foremost as an object of beauty, exploited by the camera in ways hard-boiled genre films tend to reserve for women. At one point, he strips down to white briefs to dance with a fully clothed Kidman in the rain. In That Awkward Moment, Zach teamed up with Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan to play 3 friends who make a pact to avoid relationships and pursue casual flings. Zach's shirtless scenes were the movie's main selling point, and it was no secret. Reviews of the film couldn't ignore the glaring focus on his body, with one saying, and for those who are interested, nearly all of Efron is on display. Same goes for Jordan and Teller, but let's face it, on the disrobing front, Efron is the top liner. During an appearance on Ellen, the conversation quickly turned to how much skin he showed in the movie.
Can we just show this one hilarious scene, and you'll see why he's like this when you see the movie. But there's a photo of you needing to use the restroom, and
I wouldn't say that. Oh, well, the Ellen show actually posted it. Yeah, I was about to say, that's not that awkward. Nigga, if you posted a movie and you doing something inside the movie and somebody pull up what you doing in the movie and you starting to get butthurt, nigga, suck it up. Pause, no Diddy. But, yeah, no, he probably wasn't tripping. That was probably all a part of the tactic to get more views, gang.
At the 2014 MTV Movie Awards, Zach was nominated for Best Shirtless Performance, and he made a deal with his fans on Twitter ahead of the event, saying, "If I beat Thor, I'm accepting the award shirtless on stage." When the night came, he ended up winning.
How you doing? Wow, thank you.
After he thanked the crowd, the singer Rita Ora, who was one of the presenters, walked up behind him and pulled his shirt off.
Thank you so much to my fans.
I hope this was like staged by them. I really do. Because shit like this be pissing me off, gang. Shit like this be pissing me off. Cause imagine at the award show, which it couldn't go like this because, you know, things are just different. But imagine at the award show. Oh, okay, I got one. Imagine at the award show, Shorty says, "Oh yeah, if I win best underwear scene, I'ma strip to my underwear at the award show." Posts it. She wins best underwear scene, and then a nigga just rip off her dress. Niggas going to jail. Niggas going to jail. Niggas getting locked up. Like, what the shit? But I guess it just is what it is, gang. And look, but look, see, he not even mad about it. She did it. She tried to like cover him back up after she did it. Like, get the fuck on. Please get the fuck on.
For the next few days, pictures and videos of that moment were everywhere. The overt use of his physique to sell tickets didn't stop there, as it happened again just a little later that year with
this
his
movie was fire.
Neighbors. The film was a raunchy, R-rated comedy that allowed him to show off his comedic chops, but at its core, it was still about his body. It centered on Zach's character, Teddy Sanders, the leader of a college frat who's full of charm, good looks, and swagger. A young couple played by Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne move in next door to the frat house, leading to an escalating war between both sides. While Teddy wasn't the typical leading man of Zach's past roles, the film still used his physique as a major selling point, with plenty of shirtless scenes and plenty of jokes about his attractiveness. So even though he had more interesting material to work with, he was still sold as the guy everyone wants to look at.
You're shirtless in a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
But I heard Seth was making you take your shirt off for no reason.
Yeah, I know. Like, constantly. He would say, just Zach's shirt off for the scene. And I'd be like, okay, yes, sir.
Commercially, Neighbors was a hit. The film grossed over $270 million worldwide.
That movie was fire. If y'all ain't watched that movie was funny as fuck. I'm pretty, that's the one who was like, "I'm the real Batman." And they started like fighting each other or some shit. That shit was fire. And, gang, I'm still like, the theme of this is kind of like, yes, Zac Efron was shirtless and, you know, used for his looks to be in movies. If they wasn't using him, they'll use somebody else. Let's keep it a stack. The movies are still gonna get made, gang. So you have, like, take your place into that and make your motherfucking money on. Make your money. And who gives a fuck? That's like Seth Rogen saying, "I don't want to be in any more comedies. They only use me for comedies. I can do, you know, the Notebook type movie." Nigga is not thinking that. Nigga's like, "I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be in all the comedies. I don't care. If you a rom-com, nigga, be in all the rom-coms. Make the money on."
Proving Zach's ability to bring in the box office numbers, but it was also the moment his image as the hot shirtless guy truly stuck, and Hollywood didn't want to see him as anything else. Zach seemed to embrace it, pushing aside his earlier ambitions for more dramatic and meaningful roles to capitalize on what was working. But
it does kind of suck a little bit, because if he did want to do like some more serious shit, you know, he can't. He already got probably all the money that he needed in his entire life at that point in time. So I guess from there it's kind of like goals chasing rather than chasing the money on. But fuck it, my nigga, chase the money on for a little bit.
Even though he was finding success, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. You see, around that time, Zach began seriously struggling with substance abuse issues. Although he appeared to be doing well on the surface, the pressures of his fame were getting to him. Like many celebrities do, he found himself turning to alcohol and cocaine to cope. At first, he started using substances as a social lubricant, a way to handle the constant scrutiny and public attention, but it quickly evolved into something he couldn't control. He was missing days on set, turning up to shoots hungover, and spiraling deeper and deeper into an addiction. Thankfully, he did something about it fast, checking himself into rehab and getting the help he needed. However, not long after, he relapsed and began drinking again. The public had no idea, as he kept it all under wraps, but his friends and family were seriously worried. He ended up going back to rehab for a second time and getting clean for good, and 6 months later, he was spotted in the crowd at a Lakers game wearing a 6-month sobriety chip. It was a dark period in his life, but he kicked the habit quickly. However, his drug usage would begin again a few years later, just in a different form. After the success of Neighbours, Zack starred in 2 films where his body was once again front and center: We Are Your Friends in 2015 and then Dirty Grandpa in 2016. In Dirty Grandpa, he starred alongside Robert De Niro, playing a lawyer tasked with driving his recently widowed grandfather to Florida. But instead of a sweet bonding trip, it turns into a wild, raunchy spring break adventure. The movie is filled with lots of shirtless workouts, beach scenes, and parties. And even though Zack's character is meant to be the uptight, nerdy type, his shirt comes off at every opportunity. The film flopped, earning just a 10% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and some critics described it as the worst movie they've ever seen. A fate that wasn't all too surprising, given it was yet another surface-level role that relied heavily on Zack's appearance. By this point, it wasn't just critics speaking up, fans were starting to notice too. Zack was becoming a caricature of himself, someone who kept getting hired to take his shirt off and flex over and over again. And the situation reached a boiling point with his role in Baywatch, where the obsessive focus on his looks went from pigeonholing his career to taking a serious toll on his health. In Baywatch, Zack played Matt Brody, a disgraced Olympian and hothead with a knack for clashing with everyone. For nearly half the film, he and his co-star Dwayne Johnson were locked in a flex-off, competing in all kinds of over-the-top strength challenges. You can see Zack's body was absolutely shredded. He looked ripped in his previous roles, but this was another level. He claimed that to achieve that, he had to put his body through hell, going through an intense training process and following a strict, clean diet.
For most roles, you change something, but I think probably the one role that I had to change the most for was probably Baywatch. In that movie, I adopted a really, really specific eating regimen. Clean fish or meat with sweet potatoes, like that. And I just did that the entire film. So that was the most extreme I'd ever gone. I think I was in ketosis that entire film.
Even after completely transforming into this superhuman version of himself, Baywatch didn't give Zack the payoff he'd hoped for. It didn't perform all that well at the box office, and as is becoming the theme, critics laid into him for his performance. It was so bad that he was nominated for a Razzie Award for Worst Actor in 2018.
Damn.
But the true cost wasn't just in the reviews.
Damn,
it was in
what?
the toll that pushing his body this far took on his health. A few years after the movie was released, Zack admitted he'd been taking diuretics to stay that lean, which messed him up badly. The drug reduces water retention and enhances muscle definition, but at a steep cost. He ended up battling insomnia and even slipped into depression, and it took him 6 months after getting off the drugs just to start feeling normal again. In his Hot Ones interview, he opened up about the whole experience, admitting that while he was proud of the results, he would never want to get in that kind of shape.
That's kind of crazy. You could see his face starting to, like, you know, widen out right here a little bit. Not going to lie. Like, look at his face right here. If Zac Efron was not Zac Efron, if Zac Efron was not rich, if he was never Troy Bolton in High School Musical, this would be a regular dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's a regular guy right there. I feel like they were really gassing, bro. Like, they were really stroking and shit 24/7. You feel me? I feel like he looked like an average dude. You know? Maybe not average. Maybe, like, above average dude. I don't know, bro. But, I mean, he did get swole as shit. So that's something. Shit.
Again.
I realized that, like, when I was done with that movie, I don't ever want to be in that good a shape.
Yeah, he looks like something's going on. Because it looks like his cheeks are getting, like, a little big. But even at this point right here, like, you wouldn't turn to surgery for this. You know what I mean? This looks like he already tried to get, like, filler or some shit, and it fucked him up. That's what it looks like. But, shit, who the fuck knows?
Really? It's like, it was so hard. You're working with almost no wiggle room, right? You've got things like water under your skin that you're worrying about, like making your 6-pack into a 4-pack, shit like that. That's just like not, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not real. And like, I'm happy that it worked. I'm happy that it got me through it. I may do it again if it was something worthwhile, but we'll wait till it gets to that. I don't need to, I'm good. Take care of your heart, take care of your brain, you're good.
He seemed uncomfortable with how much attention that version of him got, and when he saw the wax figure of his Baywatch body, he made it clear it isn't something to idolize.
That's too big, and don't try and get for guys. That's unrealistic, I'm telling you. Like, I got very big and buff for that movie, but I don't want people to think that's the best way to be, like, be your size. Like, don't.
Yeah.
That's facts. I feel like, you know, you see how Zac Efron did that shit for one movie, and he's like, bro, I never want to do that shit again. That shit is bullshit. Bro, The Rock, my nigga. The Rock, I don't know what type of super fucking human serum they gave this motherfucker. What super soldier serum they gave this nigga The Rock? But this nigga is too fucking big. He been too big for too long. I never seen The Rock go on a bulk. Why has The Rock never gone on a bulk? How you that fucking big? I done never seen bro go on no bulk. But then again, I guess maybe he wouldn't post it. But shit, bro. Never on a bulk. I ain't never seen him like, oh yeah, I'm about to put on some more pounds. Eating like crazy, putting on mass. No, gang. I ain't never seen that shit. You know? So, they gotta have... Yo, The Rock gotta be on some crazy steroids, my nigga. He's on the motherfucking Liver King fucking regimen, bro. Not gonna lie to you, bro. Shit.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, I don't want to glamorize this.
Following the whole health scare from Baywatch, Zac wanted a reset. After years of roles that leaned on his physique, he decided to return to his roots, movie musicals. He starred alongside Hugh Jackman in The Greatest Showman, a biographical musical about...
This was a good-ass movie. Super good-ass movie. It's crazy that I'm hearing about it, all this, because I was like... None of this ever crossed my mind, not one singular time. You know what I mean? Oh, but Zac Efron is a bad actor. Never in my life did that cross my mind. So it's just crazy to me to even like hear them saying that, and that he was going through mental distress because of this and that and this and that. But me, the average viewer, doesn't see none of that. I'm like, Zac Efron's just Zac Efron. Like, if I see him in a movie, I see him in a movie. But like, I never thought to myself, oh, Zac Efron fell off. Like, it never crossed my mind ever.
P.T. Barnum and his famous circus from the late 19th century. In the film, Zac played Philip Carlyle, P.T. Barnum's business partner and a performer in his own right. He sang, danced, and brought a surprising sense of wit and emotional depth to the role. It was a full circle moment with him finally back in a musical, but this time as an adult performer commanding the screen. While The Greatest Showman still showcased Zac's charm and attractiveness, his character wasn't defined by his body. Instead, he portrayed a romantic, emotional figure, something fans hadn't seen from him in a long time. The movie was a hit, grossing $434 million on a budget of $84 million, and winning several awards including a Grammy. Finally, Zac was being recognized for his talent, not just his looks. Then in 2019, he took a sharp left turn. He starred in Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, playing the infamous serial killer Ted Bundy. The role was controversial, with some feeling the movie romanticized Bundy's crimes and disrespected his victims by not showing the crimes themselves. But while the film drew backlash, Zac's performance didn't. Critics and fans agreed he embodied Bundy's charm and good looks with unsettling ease, making it believable that someone so outwardly likable could hide something so dark. After this movie, Zac switched things up with a Netflix travel and lifestyle show called Down to Earth. The show featured he and his buddy Darren Orlean traveling the world, exploring cool ways.
I remember this too. I never watched the Ted Bundy shit. Like, I don't be liking to watch them fucking weird ass, scary ass fucking murder shits. And especially if they're real. Nigga ain't trying to see that shit. But anyway, this shit where he was like traveling around and doing shit, I was actually on Netflix looking for these shows, watching these like episodes. Cause them shits was just lit. Like, just nigga rich as fuck. He just want to be out in the fucking wilderness and shit. That shit lit.
Ways to live healthier and more eco-friendly. They visited places like Iceland, France, Costa Rica and London, learning about sustainable living and different cultures along the way. The show dropped in June 2020 during the pandemic, and it became a go-to for many, offering chill vibes and helpful tips on how to live better.
We need to start rethinking how we consume everything, from our food to our power.
Whoa, look at that. That's Mother Earth.
do?
Some power.
After that first season, Zack started gaining new fans. People liked how down-to-earth he came across. Gone was a super polished, almost cardboard cutout look he'd had for years, and in its place we saw a more rugged, authentic version of him. But just when people started getting used to this new, laid-back version of Zack, something completely unexpected happened.
A big budget Broadway musical spectacular? Bill, wow. I mean, I knew you were smart, but I think you're a genius.
In April 2021, Zack appeared in the Facebook Earth Day special alongside Bill Nye, and fans immediately noticed something was off. His face looked different. His jawline was thicker, more squared off, and unnaturally defined. His face also looked puffy and bloated in a way it never had in the past. Within hours, the internet lit up with speculation. Many joked he looked like handsome Squidward. Others said that he resembled Lord Farquaad, and some even compared him.
This shit was fucked up. I remember when this shit dropped. I remember this. I remember niggas being like, what the hell happened to Zac Efron? You know what I mean? I just saw bro not too long ago. Now this bro on, I don't know what the hell he on. But it's crazy. He do kind of got the look. I'm not gonna lie. Shit, bruh. Kind of feel, you gotta feel bad for a gang. Cause imagine you disappear for a year, your ass pop back up on the internet. Let's say you didn't get surgery, or even if you did get surgery, you pop back up on the internet, bro, and they start flaming your ass. Flaming your ass into the ground, gang. That shit hurt.
Him to the Weeknd's exaggerated plastic surgery look in Save Your Tears. The memes spread fast, and so did the rumors. Everyone had a theory, and the most popular one, plastic surgery. There was no explanation from Zack, just silence, so the speculation only grew. If you googled his name that week, nearly every headline was about his face. Even his mum reportedly called him to ask if he'd had work done. And to be fair, the public suspicion wasn't baseless. Zack had a well-known track record of pushing his body to extremes for roles, so the idea that he might have turned to cosmetic enhancements didn't seem far-fetched. More than a year later, he finally addressed the rumors in an interview with Men's Health, giving a full explanation. According to Zack, the change had nothing to do with plastic surgery. He said that back in 2013, he was running through his house in socks, slipped, and smashed his chin on the granite corner of a fountain. He blacked out, and when he came to, his chin bone was hanging off his face. Doctors wired his jaw shut, and he spent 6 weeks on a liquid diet. But he said the real change in his appearance didn't happen back then. It happened years later, after he stopped doing physical therapy. During recovery, he'd been working with a specialist to help retrain the muscles in his face. But when he took a break from therapy, his masseter muscles, the ones at the back of the jaw that help you chew, started to overcompensate. They grew larger, and that, he said, is what made his jaw look so different in 2021.
He was gonna get plastic.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Cause it's also like up here, and it's also like his lips. But I guess if this, like, if your back moves forward, it could make your lips look weird. But if that's really what happened, that's fucked up. Cause it did look like over time his jaw was getting bigger, and it probably just hit a breaking point where his jaw got, you know, fucking huge. So shit kind of sad, bro. Shit kind of sad.
Surgery, you wouldn't get that. Come on.
Ain't no way. Bro, what'd you say? Ain't no way you just violated bro right now. Hold up.
What made his jaw look so different in 2021.
If he was gonna get plastic surgery, you wouldn't get that. Come on.
That's fucked up. Who is this guy? Zack, if you punch this nigga in the mouth right now, look, that's a face of anger, my nigga. That's a face of, like, well-controlled anger. Because how you gonna say that shit to a nigga? If you were gonna get plastic surgery, you wouldn't do that. Nigga, what? Like, I know that shit hurt. That shit hurt. That shit hurt. This shit kind of hurt me. Damn. Zac Efron should have hit that nigga with a, show him what all the action movies was for. Hit that nigga with an elbow straight to the dome. Nigga look like a fucking weasel. Shut the fuck up, gang. Look at that angry laugh.
Good job, man.
Yeah. Bro, shut the hell up. Like, look at bro. He's kind of pissed right now. He can't even be mad.
Oh my god.
He's trying not to fucking
You're
spaz.
just stirring the pot.
No, it was funny. It sucked. I almost died, but we're good.
Yeah. That's how you like, that's him trying so hard not to like spaz. That little inkling of just like, you know, microaggression. Like, yeah, I almost died. Yeah, but who gives a fuck, right? My face is fucked up. Who cares, right? That shit kind of sad.
This moment showed just how much things changed after his transformation. Years earlier, people adored his looks, but now they were mocking them. And the sad part, he wasn't chasing vanity. He was just trying to recover, or at least that's what he led us to believe. But when behind the scenes photos from the Iron Claw surfaced, a new theory started to gain traction, one that had nothing to do with an old injury. To play pro wrestler Kevin Von Erich, Zack underwent a dramatic physical transformation, even by his standards. He packed on more muscle than ever before. His chest was thicker, his shoulders broader, and his arms looked like they belonged to someone who lived in the gym. His frame changed completely, taking on that exaggerated, bulky look you'd expect from a body.
It always blew my mind. Like, he's the size of like a bodybuilder. You know what I mean? And bodybuilders spend their whole life motherfucking bodybuilding. And then all of a sudden Zac Efron he's an actor going to play a bodybuilder, and the nigga looks like a bodybuilder. Like, they have to pump bro with so much fucking steroids, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, all the steroids they probably pumping through this nigga veins, my nigga. I wouldn't be surprised next time a nigga talk about his face, he just starts spazzing. He just black out on a motherfucker. Cause like, bro, look how big bro is. Like, how long do they have you prepping for this movie? They got you prepping for 3 years straight? I would hope not. I don't think so. They probably got you with a year max prep. Nigga, you got this big in a year? Hey, man.
Builder. And once the movie hit screens, the conversation shifted. It was no longer just what happened to his jaw. It became, how did he bulk up like that? That's when the PED rumors started. Gaining lean muscle tissue gets harder the more you already have.
I never watched that movie though. I actually want to watch it. High key. There's a lot of movies in here that he mentioned that I never watched. And I feel like Zac Efron's one of those actors where whenever he was in a movie, I would watch the movie. You know what I mean? Except for a couple of movies that I just don't care to watch. But if Zac Efron's in a movie, I feel like it's usually a good movie. And that one looked kind of lit. It reminds me of what's his name? Something Majors in his movie. I haven't watched that one. I want to watch that one too. But yeah. Anyway.
And Zack wasn't starting from scratch. He was already in great shape, but the version of him we saw in the Iron Claw looked like something else entirely. Naturally, people started asking questions, because they'd seen this kind of transformation before. Just look at Conor McGregor, whose head and muscle mass ballooned seemingly overnight in 2021, triggering steroid speculation. Or Kumail Nanjiani, whose jump from comedy star to Marvel superhero came with a visibly bulkier face and larger jaw. There are numerous celebrity transformations just like this, and Zack became the newest on the list. Some fans noticed something else about him too, what looked like a bubble gut, a distended, bloated stomach often associated with HGH use. This drug doesn't just grow muscle, it can disrupt proportions, alter digestion, and even change facial structure. And again, it isn't a stretch to believe Zack took it. He already admitted to using performance-enhancing methods to achieve his Baywatch body, so maybe whatever he took to build his frame for the Iron Claw was the same thing that altered his face. The frustrating part for Zack was that even after delivering one of the best performances of his career in that movie, the conversation still...
But his jaw don't even look that, like, as big as it was in, like, right here compared to before. So maybe it went down some?
Revolved around his body. It seems no matter how much he changes, the roles, the physique, the commitment, the story stays the same. The industry still sees him as an image first, an actor second. It happened again in his most recent movie, A Family Affair, and it will most likely...
Is this the same lady that he was dancing with from before? Where he was in his undies? It looks like it is. It might be. That'd be kind of crazy. But I also saw this movie. I thought this movie was a pretty good movie. But this was post whatever happened to his face, and I do remember thinking in my head like, dang, this nigga Zac Efron done fucked up his face doing some shit, bro. Trying to do some surgery shit. Fucked himself up. But it kind of sucks for me. I was thinking that shit, but bro talking about his fucking jaw was hanging off and nigga had to do surgery, get his mouth wired shut, all type of shit. Nigga said he was dancing in his underwears. Nah, he was probably off that motherfucking cokers, bro. He was probably off that cokers. But anyway.
Continue to happen. But the truth is, in many ways, he hasn't helped himself. He's played the game, leaned into the image, and chased transformations that have kept the spotlight on how he looks, not what he can do. We saw some glimpses of the career he could have had, but ultimately, the conversation around him has always wound up back in the same place. And that's the trap. When your looks have been your currency for so long, at some point, it becomes hard for people to see anything else.
Sheesh. Yeah, I mean, I guess, man, but at the same time, like I said, The Rock is The Rock in every single fucking movie, and nobody gives a fuck. You still, as long as you're inside bangers, nobody cares, honestly. And that just is what it is. I feel like almost every actor is used for their look first, before their acting talent. You know what I mean? If you have a role and it needs to be a black woman, like the role is a black woman, it doesn't matter how good of an actor a white man actor is, that nigga's not getting that role. So people cast roles based off of your look first and then into, you know, how good you are. But, you know, sometimes there are roles that don't necessarily have an what the fuck am I trying to say? Roles that have like ethnicity to it. So, you know, it might be something where, oh, this person could play it, this person could play it, this person could play it, and it could really be anybody. But it's still like, for the most part, whenever a producer is making a movie, I'm sure they have an idea of what kind of person or who they want in that place. So being the person that motherfuckers choose is not necessarily an issue, is how I feel. And I feel like what ruined Zac Efron is the fact that, you know, he was trying to run away from that and a whole bunch of other shit happened, and of course, you know, his face getting fucked up. But yeah, no, this is pretty sad. I feel like this has been a pretty interesting video, pretty eye-opening video. But anyway, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that other shit, and I love you guys. Peace.